I mean, that's so cool. I mean, there's a place you can come and train and get mentorship, and like we're here to win. So you want to be able to have the best, training, and the fact that this is available is so cool. For me, I have always wanted to figure out a way to get into esports, and then I loved it. And so I was looking at esports for a long time. And you don't know esports until you know Cloud9. So I looked at that, and my husband was like, "You should definitely figure out a way to be involved." And then also understanding how mentorship and coaching has done and what is provided in my life, I thought it would be great to be involved. Coaches and mentors are super important. Everyone has a coach. Doesn't matter how good or how elite you are, you have a coach. And so it's so important to understand that the same applies in gaming and anything else, and mentorship as well. Like I have mentors. And so for me, it's really important to make sure that they understand that.
Give it up and join me in welcoming entrepreneur and tennis champion Serena Williams.
Hi.
One of the things that is central in every training grounds program is coaching. And we feel like it's a central ingredient to taking any athlete's gifts to another level. And so how would you describe the importance of coaching for young athletes and helping them achieve their goals?
Well, coaching is important. You don't have to be outside playing tennis or shooting basketball to have a coach. I mean, if you think about it, coaching is very important when it comes just across the ground, especially in esports. I feel like coaches see things that you don't because you're so involved and you're so in, and you don't necessarily see what's going on here or strategize as well. Everyone has a coach. I mean, even actors have coaches. I was talking to long time ago, obviously, but I was talking to Robert De Niro, who's like if you guys are super young, but you should know Bob De Niro. Um, and he told me he had an acting coach, and I was like, wow, Robert De Niro has an acting coach. So it doesn't matter like how good you are or what coaching obviously plays a huge role in terms of how successful you want to be.
One of the things that was funny that came up when we started coaching, there was an internal debate of how good at the games themselves did the coaches need to be. There was a debate of like, do they need to be in the top percentile of coaches? And some of the kids, they didn't respect the coaches at first because they were like, well, I'm better at this game than you are, so why should I listen to you as the coach? And so I'm curious, like, what advice do you give to young players? How you frame that for yourself? Because clearly, like, you're better than every coach you have at tennis.
Much better. Yeah. Including my dad and my mom. Yeah.
Right. How do you put that in perspective, and how can we kind of help young athletes understand sort of like, how to make sense of that?
So as good as I, can be, the best person is actually the best player is actually in the stands. So like, because when I'm in the stands, I've never lost a match, ever. I'm like the greatest of the greats sitting, watching. So if you like kind of approach it like that, I'm like, okay, well, when you're training and you're playing, it's like, okay, you're really good, but someone looking at a bird's eye view is better because they can see more and they can, explain more, and they can just kind of just know what's gonna happen. Yeah, I think that's really important to understand that because it's like if you can exit your body and look at yourself, you can even say, wow, I could do that. Or that's the whole reason you watch film, is to say, like, I should have done that. So it's like your coach kind of gets to see you do that. And it's super important to have that mentorship and coaching.
We met a couple weeks ago to film our course Champions Mindset and get your insight into what it takes to really cultivate a champion's mindset. And so I wanted to touch on some of that today. How do you define a champion's mindset, and how does it show up in your life?
A champion's mindset is someone that just never quits. And no matter how much they're down or how much they lost, they get back up. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, in a sport, it could be in anything. Not giving up. And as cliche as it sounds, like never give up. But it is true because there's so many opportunities where it's so much easier to stop, or it's so much easier to say, I'm not feeling well today. And it's so easy to do that. But a champion shows up and they improve and they never stop. And so I think that's the difference. My goal obviously was to be number one, but my short-term goal was to be in the top 100 so I wouldn't have to qualify for the Grand Slam. So it was a little step. So then I got that, I got to like 98 or something, and that was a goal. And I reached my goal and I was so excited. And it was like, of course it's not my long-term goal, but it was so exciting and so cool to reach that one goal. And then the next goal was to be like, okay, just to be in the top 50. And then the next goal was, the top 20 in order to get to that top position.
And 23 Grand Slam titles later. Wow, incredible.
I mean, it should have been a lot more, but
high school students here, they're so excited to hear from you, get your advice. What advice would you give to them in developing a champion's mindset and how to approach it?
Again, just set goals and stick to those goals, and don't be afraid to reach high and to dream big and to get there, and also just always work hard at what you want to do, and understand that there is going to be some challenges, there is going to be some brick walls, and you just have to break through them, and sometimes you might have to chisel away shortly, and not shortly but slowly, and it might take a little more time, but once you break through, the next wall is way further away.